Hey everyone, this is Maureen from highpointreikiandreadings.com, and we are back with another pick an object reading for the week ahead. And I'm going to tune into the energy. I actually haven't tuned in with my guides yet, but it doesn't take too long. So if you don't mind bearing with me while I do that, it could be fun. Okay, I am tuned in now. It can happen very quickly. FYI, if you're claircognizant, it doesn't require as much visualization and can happen a lot quicker. So, in case you didn't know that, there you go. So first, as usual, I want to do the energy of the week ahead, and then I'll show you the objects I have for this week. So, let's see, what's the energy for the week ahead? Okay, so what I'm feeling is like a sense of like a large part of the story to come in your life is going to happen in the next week. So pay attention to the things that happen. It's almost like a setting of the tone. It's like the meat of the story is being established in the next week. So whether things surrounding your job or your home life or other relationships seem to be changing or expanding or contracting, just pay attention to those things, because those are the things that I feel like are going to be happening in the next week. It's like what you learn in the next week, if you're paying attention, is going to kind of tell you what's going to happen for the foreseeable future. So like, just as a metaphorical example, I'm not saying this is the thing, but if you and your significant other have a bad week where you fight with each other a lot, that may indicate that you need to communicate now about these things, or it could continue into the foreseeable future. So whatever happens in the next week, if it's something you don't want to be the tone for the rest of the foreseeable future, address it. Give yourself a little space to process and everything like that, but make sure you address it before it's too late. So, and if it's a good thing, then that's great, but then you need to pay attention for the signs to follow to, find your feet on that path. So if something comes up in your atmosphere that's like right in the vein of something you've always wanted to do, and you get an opportunity to, do something in that vein with other people, not only should you do it, you should look to find more events of that sort. So, a good example would be like if you take awesome photographs of wildlife and you see a photo contest open up, just go ahead and enter the contest. It's not going to matter whether you win or not. It's going to matter that you take the action and declare to the universe, I'm interested in doing more of this. So something like that. Just the things that will be in play for the foreseeable future are going to be brought to your vision during the next week. And so just pay attention. Anything negative, try to do what you can to mitigate it. If communication needs to open up with somebody in your life, open that communication up. Or if it's surprisingly horrible and toxic, be prepared to cut them out of your life if that's what's needed. I'm not saying you should do that for everybody in your life that has a bad day and maybe isn't so nice to you one day. But if someone is obviously toxic in your life, prepare yourself to maybe back up a little bit or cut them out completely if that's what you need. But on the other hand, if, like I said, something you've been interested, been thinking about for a long time, an opportunity within that arises, you got to jump on that. And then, keep your eyes open for the next one. So that's what I'm sensing for the energy coming this week. And now we're going to talk about the objects. I have chosen scarves. I almost never wear scarves. It would be fair to say I never wear scarves. But I have these two beautiful scarves that people have given me. This has very nice fantasy color scheme, in my opinion. It's like green and blue and purple. So this is going to be the scarf for the first group. And then for the second group, we've got a Celtic scarf. Let me open this up so you can see it properly. It's got big Celtic symbols on it. Very nice, very beautiful. More like fall colors, which are also beautiful. So figure out which one you like the best. Right now, I'm going to start with the purple one. Then we'll move on to the Celtic one. So if you pick the purple one, then your section is up next. If you pick the Celtic one, use the timestamps in the description to skip and see what your reading is. And if you choose both, then just stay tuned. So I'm going to get my cards out now, and I think I'm going to lay this scarf out too. I'm also going to readjust the camera. So when I come back, things may look a little different. There is no fancy editing here because I do not have that kind of skill, but anyway, we'll be right back with your card reading. So my face is a little cut off. I think I have the camera closer than usual. But the cards are the important part. So I have the scarf laid out here. This is the purple kind of fantasy colors. We're going to pick 3 of these. And then clarify with the smaller hand-drawn cards. So what do the people who chose the purple scarf need to know for the week ahead? And while I shuffle, it seems like a good time to ask you to like and subscribe if you're into the information I'm providing here. And yes, 3 cards have fallen out. I have to retrieve them now. Okay, so there we go. Okay. So this actually fits in with the energy I was speaking of. The first card it's a robin with a very clear white circle around his eye. I really like how that picture came out. It says, watch most carefully for the changing of seasons to know when to grow. And that's kind of what I was saying about the energy for the week ahead. Like, the signs are going to start coming to you, and that's when you know what moves to make to go in the direction you want to go in and to improve your health and happiness. This next card says, it takes a moment to remember all the things that bring gratitude. So in this case, I think it's talking about, during this coming time of changing, the signs that are coming through, look at the things that make you happy and fulfilled and you get excited about. And then that's what you know to follow. That's what you know to say, hey, like, I'm going to go in that direction. And then when you stand in joy, you may remind the others who have lost their own. So this isn't a call to be happy no matter what. What this is when you are happy and joyful and express it, you may bring joy to somebody's day and not even realize it. Okay, my little card stand doesn't seem to be holding up very well, does it? I'll just hold it. So keep an eye out for what's revealing itself to you in the coming time. I'm going to say it's a few months, but the changing of the seasons, I think, in this context means I feel like we're going to feel a palpable change, if that makes sense. Like something in our lives is going to go in a different direction than it has been. And that's what you want to pay attention to. It's like a navigation tool. It's like if you're out on the ocean in a sailboat and the wind changes, you got to change the direction of the sail, right? Potentially. You may keep going on the track you're on because you may already be on the right path, but you may have to move the sails around to keep the progress going. Doing this with gratitude in your heart will help you more easily navigate. You'll be able to identify, this is what makes me happy, this is what makes me feel fulfilled, this is what I look forward to, this is what I'm excited about. And it's always a good idea to express gratitude just, when you're on your own. Or just like if you have a really great moment, just be like, that was awesome. Like I had so much fun doing that. That made me so happy. Like just say it out loud. Activate it in the, with your sound in the universe. Do it in your car when you're by yourself. You don't have to. If you want to say it in front of all the people you're with, that's fine, but and yeah, this cardinal in this picture is kind of standing there, and I feel like even though its mouth isn't open, it's on the verge of chirping, so it's like speak out with your joy, speak out with your happiness, and let it resound to others. You may be doing someone a great favor without even realizing it. You may be regrounding them into a joy you had forgotten. I don't know how many times I've been out in public. We're going to clarify this first card, but while I pull this card, I'm going to just say, I don't know how many times I've been out in public and I've seen a little kid or even a grown-up doing something silly. And maybe I was having a really bad day and then I see them doing something silly and fun, and I could tell they're just in their joy, and it just brightens my day. Even if I don't even interact with them, if I see them like across the street, it's just it's just fun to see people who are that, unconcerned about, like, they're in their own moment, and they don't need you to be in there with them because they're perfectly happy and they're all by themselves. But you still get the benefit of it by enjoying their joy and whimsy, So the card that came up for this one is allow. So what I think it's saying here, what's coming through, is that there are changes coming. There aren't going to be many options for stopping them or changing them too drastically. So rather than resist the changes that are coming, just focus on navigating them. Focus on, okay, like I was saying, if you're arguing with someone a lot, consider your options on how to resolve it or how to remove it. That's kind of the words that are coming through. Resolve or remove. It doesn't make sense to keep things lingering in your life that aren't serving any purpose. Even if that purpose is like, that person makes me laugh, that's a good reason to keep someone around. But you could if they also have, if you spend too much time with them, you notice changes within yourself, or you just, you reach a point where it's not fun anymore, maybe cut that time back, that kind of thing. So anyway, allow is just like, don't resist, because the change is coming. That's just what's going to happen. So instead of resisting, allow it to come in. I think it's going to tell you a lot about what you're resistant to, and put you in a position of, why am I resistant to it? So follow all of that kind of inner reflection stuff. Think about it. Figure it out. The sooner you figure it out, the less uncomfortable it will be. So, and give yourself the time. That's like a self-care thing too, guys. It's folks, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to say guys anymore. It's a self-care thing though. Just allowing yourself the time to reflect and think and connect with the parts of yourself that need more sustenance, more nourishment, things like that. Even just, 10-minute meditation every day, even that. Okay, so for this card, honesty. That is a good card to come out for this, because there's a lot of people that say they're really grateful for things, and they're not actually great things for them to have in their life. And this is in the realm of, the toxic relationships I was talking about before, where it's like, there's someone that can be mean to you for a month straight, and then one day they'll come up to you and be like, "Oh, you look so pretty." And for some people, that just wipes out everything they did for the previous 30 days. But if you're thinking about the things you're truly grateful for, can you honestly say that person who's toxic for 30 days and is nice for you on the 31st day is someone you have gratitude for in your life? Like, be honest. Practice honesty and say, yeah, actually, they're not a great person to have in my life. And maybe I need to change the dynamic of their presence in my life. And same with activities, same with jobs, same with hobbies, I mean, there are some people that will spend all of their money pursuing a hobby, but they're so happy when they're doing that hobby. So I would say that isn't toxic. I mean, you may want to find better ways to spend your money within the hobby, but, I don't feel like you should stop. Maybe, I don't know, just try to use your money more wisely. Don't put yourself into, poverty. But, keep pursuing it if it makes you happy, if it truly makes you happy. Don't stop. Maybe cut back a little. That's it. So to clarify for this cardinal card about the joy. Ooh, okay. This actually, let me see if I can reach it. Feet. I always forget that feet are good tools. So this just kind of punctuates what I was saying before, It's like, and I'm not trying to say I'm this wonderful, whimsical person 100% of the time, but sometimes you just catch yourself in a moment, and maybe you have a song running through your head and you just start dancing to it. And you could be at work, and you could be out on the street, you could be anywhere, and it just starts running through your head and you just rock out, and who cares? Do more of that. It's fun. Because like I said, somebody may see you and be like, you know what? Whatever vibe they're on, I want to be on that vibe too. And they may, just the joy they feel from seeing your whimsical expression may promote change in their life. You never know. You'll probably never know. But, and that's, you're not doing it just for them, obviously, but what this is saying is don't be afraid to do those things. Because not only is it fun and feels good for you, it's also potentially going to change someone else's perspective. Maybe they used to be like that and they haven't been for a long time. And seeing you like that will say, oh, something needs to change. I need to get back to that place, Okay, so we have reached the end of our purple whimsical scarf group. And now we're going to move on to the Celtic Scarf group. So if that's you, stay tuned and I will be right back with your reading. All right, so welcome back. We are now speaking with the Celtic Scarf people. So if you chose the more Celtic themed scarf, this is your section of the energy ahead kind of info. And so let me shuffle these cards until some fall out. And these are, in case you're new to this, these are cards that I made myself, or had made, I should say, with a printer. My husband helped me out a lot with the editing and stuff like that. Oops. And so, but these are all pictures I took and poems I wrote. So, okay, if you were also watching the last group, this came out for the last group as well, but it wants everyone to know this, so you guys get this one too. I'm not gonna take that one because it didn't, there we go. It didn't quite fall out. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna have this try to fall over again. We have to hold it. So we have 3 cards here. This one, the color kind of got a little messed up. It's actually more purple and red, but right now it just looks orange on the card. So, the hues of morning can surpass the dreams from which you have just woken. I know it's awoken, but haikus have very specific syllable requirements if you're writing that kind of haiku. I know it's a little more relaxed than it used to be. When you stand in joy, you may remind the others who have lost their own. And then, 'tis better to walk, though all you see is the path. The horizon comes. So, let's see. This first card. It's time to make your dreams real. Like, you keep having all these great ideas and great dreams and and then you wake up and you're like, oh, we're still doing this. We're still on this note. Like, it's... This is a message that, okay, there's dreams in real life too that can be achieved, that can be accomplished, and you just need to start working your energy to carry them out, receive them, however you want to say it. So if you have some big, wild, crazy dream in your head about something you want to do or something you want to be a part of or something like that, just start paying attention. Just start saying, just put the energy out there. Like, yeah, I really want to do that. I really want to try that. And then try to find things that are in that same energy. Like, if you want to be a professional chef, start making your dinners a little bit fancier. Just, play around, have fun. Start discovering your ingredients more. And then if an opportunity arises for you to be a part of a group or a class that's going to improve your skill, then go take it, you know? And then this card came out for the last group, like I said. It says, when you stand in joy, you may remind the others who have lost their own. And to me, this I get very specific pictures of in my head of just I've seen people just do crazy, silly things in the middle of like a sidewalk. They weren't with anybody, but they just decided to do a little dance in the middle of the sidewalk. Uh, maybe they had a tune in their head they just couldn't shake, and the rhythm got to them, and they just had to dance it out a little bit. But when I see people doing stuff like that, I'm just like, it makes me happy because I feel like I'm sharing a moment with them, you know? And maybe they look around afterward to see if anybody noticed. And you know, it, for me it can go either way. Sometimes I'll be like thumbs up, or sometimes I'll just look away because you can tell by the look on their face that they hope nobody saw them. And I don't want to discourage anybody from having those moments. Maybe that was a really brave moment they had, and they don't usually do stuff like that. I don't want to discourage them from doing it more. But it also resonates with me in the fact that they just let their guard down for like 5 seconds, and I enjoyed it just as much as they did, probably. So maybe I need to look at my guard and see if it's way too strongly up. Maybe I need to let it down a little bit and cut loose from time to time, even if it's a silly dance in the middle of the sidewalk. And they're not there with a hat collecting money. They're just I don't know, maybe they're standing around waiting for someone and there's some music playing and they just start dancing to it. And I'm like, I love that they're just willing to dance right there. That's amazing. And then, 'tis better to walk, though all you see is the path, the horizon comes. So it's just a card about patience. You may not feel like you're getting anywhere. You may not feel like you're any closer to your dreams than you were a month ago or 3 months ago or a year ago. But, you know, and the fact that they ended up laid out in this way, it's like, let your dreams become a reality, add a little joy to the mix, and be a little patient. And then it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And you just got to have the bravery and the passion. Try to keep the passion for it up. So we're going to choose these cards now. Let's make this. So which card clarifies the card about dreams? Let's find out. So this other deck I have too of these little tiny cards. I just kind of, well, for this deck, I just kind of cut a piece of paper apart and then found the sheaths that would fit. I wanted cards that fit my hands, unlike these cards, which are huge. I wanted these to be big because I like the pictures, and the bigger they are, the better they are, in my opinion. But, oh man. I think that card wanted to come out, but it didn't. So, but anyway, I drew all these cards as well as I could with my artistic skill, which, is debatable with... Oh, well. So for this one... And this is so funny. Okay, so apply patience, which is what I said about this card. And be childlike, which is what I said about this card in the because that's the card that came out for this one. In fact, maybe that's what was meant to happen. That they're saying the same thing to both groups because it's really important, because everyone needs to know it. That sometimes you just got to be fun and wild and crazy and free and do whatever brings you a little bit of joy. And that's the energy that makes this happen. That's the energy that's going to bring this to you. Because the more you are in touch with when you're feeling joyful, the more you're going to be able to discern which path you go on to keep this going, to keep the dream coming to fruition, to making progress. So, just be patient. Even if you have a dream where everything you wish comes true, don't expect to wake up and have it happen the next day. And so, but it may be, okay, so what they're telling me is this may be a sign like, okay, your feet are on the path now. Now you just have to put the energy and put the work into it. But also stay childlike, because childlike also means like realize that you don't know everything. Realize there's still more for you to gain knowledge-wise, experience-wise, etc., etc. So even if you're very experienced in something, just say, even if you're the best there ever was, according to your perception, that doesn't mean there's not more to learn. Just because you've reached a level everyone else has learned doesn't mean that's the ceiling. So even just for that, and if you're excelling that much, don't you want to keep excelling? If your ability got you that far, how far can it take you? Children, this is what's coming to my mind now too. Children take a little while to realize when things are permanent and when things are not permanent. So, maybe that's the energy. It's like don't get too attached to one thing or another. Just be like, oh, this is happening now? That's awesome. I love that. And then just keep riding that wave of good happiness and faith and energy as long as you can. So now we're going to clarify this path card. It's like just because you can't see the ending. I mean, see, what's coming to mind here now while I'm shuffling for the clarification is how many times have you been riding in a car, on a bike, on a street, and you see a hill coming up and it looks like the biggest hill you've ever seen. And then when you actually get on the hill, it's actually not that big. So, even though it looks like there's no end to the path, that doesn't mean you're never going to reach it, right? That's essentially where that's going. So this is the card, Trust Your Gut. Trust your gut is just saying, like, you know what to do. And if you feel like in your gut you're almost there, then believe that, because just you adding the energy of that to the situation may bring it to you faster. Or if you feel like, okay, I'm excited to do it, but I don't feel like I'm quite there yet, that's fine too. That just means you have more to learn, like these what was that? Oh man, be childlike. The thing I was talking about, the thing about maybe you don't know everything yet. And maybe that's why you're still on the path, because there's something you haven't learned yet, which is going to be integral to you being successful once you get to the end of the path. So, don't get mad, don't get frustrated, and don't give up. I actually saw a license plate the other day that said don't give up, or don't quit. If you think about what fits on a license plate, it said don't quit. And I was like, thank you, universe. I appreciate that message. It was first thing in the morning. So it kind of brightened up the rest of my day. So whoever's license plate that is, thank you for that. Message received. And anyway, so just start to try to put your dreams into motion. Stop seeing them as dreams. Start seeing them as things that can actually exist in your life. And then do it with joy. Insert some joy into the situation. Like, make it fun, especially if it's something that you haven't started doing yet and you feel like, okay, even if I'm doing this, it may not turn out to be so successful that I can quit the job I dislike. Especially if you're in that kind of position, then do whatever. Do what feels good, do what feels silly and joyful and whimsical and all that, and just keep going on the path. Don't give up, and trust your gut when it says, okay, we're almost there. And they want to add here, when you do get that message from your gut that, okay, we're almost there, then do a quick evaluation and say, okay, am I ready? Am I feeling ready? What do I not know yet that I really want to know? Start what is the word? Doing hypothetical scenarios and say, okay, well, what if this happens? What do I do then? What if this happens? It doesn't mean you're going to have everything figured out before you get there. It just means that you're going to have a plan. You're not going to be caught completely off guard with every little hiccup or twist that happens, So when you feel like you're at the end of your path, when the horizon becomes visible, you want to go, okay, let's start to figure out how this is actually going to work. And then create a structure that works for you. You can decide how much or how little structure you need. But if you plan it out, when you start to feel you're nearing the end, you're going to fare much better when you're actually, in the process of living your dream, let's say. You're going to want to be able to say, hey, like, yeah, this came up. I'm glad I thought about what I wanted to do in that scenario. Here we go. Because now I know, and talk to other people who do that thing. Or if you have a way to read up on it, if you have a way to research on it, just say, like, I'm serious about this. I really want to do it. And now that I feel like I'm almost there, I'm almost to the point where I can do it as much as I want to, then I need to figure out how and how it's going to work. So, don't stress out with the hypotheticals, but just so it's almost like a self-support thing. Like, you're going to feel better stepping into that role if you've already got some resolutions ready in your back pocket for unexpected scenarios that may arrive. But don't panic. You may have no unexpected scenarios whatsoever. The point is, if anything does come up, you'll be ready. You'll at least have the beginnings of a plan in mind on how to resolve it, so you don't have to just quit after the first unexpected twist arises. And twists can teach you so much. So, that's a lot of fun too. That's how you should see the twists. Say, okay, this isn't the complete failure of what I was setting out to do. This is just my challenge to figure it out and how to make it work. It's another chance to prove to yourself that this is what you want to do, and you're not going to just let any old thing stop you, All right, well, I hope that is helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.